Yes, friends. Are we in session? Please raise hands to indicate your presence.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, everybody to raise hands if you are in session.
Yes. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, I see some hands raised. Nitish and Shivam. Okay, Shivam has raised hands. Nitish still not around. Okay, Nitish is also there. So all the other participants in session, everyone to lower your hands. Thank you, friends. All right. So in the morning, we looked into the various aspects of banking, basics of banking. We looked into what are the components in the BFSI industry. We needed to understand who the players are, the major players in the BFSI, and how they impact the functioning of a bank, and the reason why we need to be aware of these products, including the regulators, the competition that we face. In this part of the session, I would want to focus on preparing ourselves for the interviews, right? And one of the things that usually interviewers check is the awareness of the candidate in terms of, like I said, the banking knowledge, the financial knowledge, awareness with respect to the industry that you're keen on joining, which is the banking sector, the latest news that you might have come across with respect to the bank that you're interested to join, in this case, Axis Bank. So these would be some of the things that we would want you to remember and be aware of, right? I find hands still raised by Abhishek, Kamlesh, and Shivam. Something that you all want to say? If not, I would request you to lower your hands. Right? So today, every interviewer will also have certain questions just to check the awareness levels. Why the awareness on current affairs is required? If someone can tell me, let me start with Shivam, who still has his hand raised. Yes, Shivam. The reason why knowledge about current affairs is required? Go ahead, please respond. Shivam, why do you think awareness is required? Yeah. Others? Anybody who would want to give? Shivam seems to have exited the session. Yeah. Anybody else?
Yes, ma'am.
Hmm. Go ahead, please respond. Nitish, yes.
Any amendments came in, so we decided to know the current affairs.
Come again, not clear.
Any amendments came to me, like interest rates are
Hmm.
change,
Hmm.
so we decided to know the current affairs.
Okay. So you are giving an example of being aware of the interest rates so that as and when there are changes, the same can be informed to the customer. Okay. One reason. What else? Why the awareness on current affairs? Any other reason that you can think of? Yes, nobody else has an answer? Today, what is the role that all of you all are planning to join? You all are planning to join as relationship managers. Who are relationship managers? Relationship managers are financial advisors for their customers, right? So today, as a customer, when you advise me that this is a product that is good or this is a service that you should be taking, this is the USP. I need to be aware of what's happening around me in the competitive space, why you would want to have those recommendations, why the client should listen to you. The client will have a lot of discussions with the relationship manager, right? So today, I, as a customer, will look for you for advice. I will look for you to help me. What do you predict is going to happen in the economy or in terms of a particular investment that I foresee? Which would be, you say, are the recommended things? Now, unless you are intelligent, unless you come across as knowledgeable in front of your customer, these discussions will not happen. right? Product knowledge is one thing. Today, when I join any organization, I get to know the products that it is selling. I get to know the services that we are offering. That is fair enough. That is expected, and that is the bare minimum that you should have. But simultaneously, you should also be aware of what's happening around you. And current affairs keeps you updated. Current affairs keeps you updated with any kind of changes that is happening in the banking industry. It could be internal changes within the organization, like Axis Bank has revised the rate. But is this a call that Axis Bank has taken because maybe RBI has changed the rates? Now, that is an awareness you should have. Now, the moment the RBI has announced a rate change, will it impact my interest rates? How so? Will it be positive? Will it be negative? These are discussions that the client would want to have with you. The repercussions, right? The lending rates change, the deposit rates change. This you will come to know only over aware of what the market is offering. How is, for example, going by the same example of Nitish, how is an Axis Bank FD better or not so good as compared to, let's say, an HDFC or an ICICI Bank? Now, unless I have an awareness of the competition product, I will never be able to convince my customers. Yeah, because customers will come back to me with various justifications, objections, as the case may be. So, an awareness is important. It improves the quality of the professional that you are. Today, I can have intelligent conversations with a customer. I can have conversations about diverse topics if I am aware of what's happening around me. I need to be understanding, I need to be well aware of the changes that are happening in the economy, especially the financial sector, more so the banking sector, and obviously Axis Bank as a bank, what are the latest updates, changes that are happening, right? So today, when I invite participants for the role, right, as a relationship manager, I'm inviting participants from all diverse backgrounds, right? I have people in session who are from arts, who are from science stream, who are from commerce. Now, today, when I have to pick the participant one over another, and which candidate is better, these would be one of the additional things that I see, right? So academically, maybe someone has an advantage because you come from the finance background, but market awareness is poor. You are not able to carry on a conversation. You don't know what's happening. It would not be a good fit. Whereas maybe I have someone who is very aware of the changes that are happening around him, is up to date with what's happening in Axis Bank, in the finance sector, in the economy, and also has a strong academic background in terms of your scores are very well, you have been an excellent academic performer, irrespective of what your field may be. I would want to prefer this candidate. So it's not only the academic background that you come from. I'm also focusing on your presence, your personality as a whole. Will you be able to meet my high net worth customer? Will you be able to sit across the table and give them advisory or investment advice? Will you be able to handle their doubts, resolve their questions, meet their objections? Will you be in a position to be a good salesperson and pitch the products and services of the bank? These are essentials, right? So it's not just your background, but the complete package that I'm looking for. That's the reason I take a good amount of time to train, because I know people have been shortlisted who belong to different categories, right? So I might have shortlisted a person who is from a science background. I know that maybe academically you might not have the required knowledge, and that is the reason I am training you on banking. I am training you on Axis Bank products and services. But what works for you is the communication skills, which is there, the good convincing power that is required for a salesperson, the awareness and market info, which is essential to carry on those conversations, and the presence, the presentable grooming that I would want to see. So it is the complete package that I'm looking for. So all the participants who come from diverse backgrounds, please do not be in any way feel that you are at a disadvantage. But at the same time, when it comes to interviews, you need to be prepared for answering questions as well. Today, I am taking a person from a science stream and asking him or her a question on banking. I can't have the candidate blank. I can't have the candidate saying, maybe I don't have the information. If you don't have the information, you need to make attempt to learn that information, right? And that is what we are doing in these sessions. Being aware, making you aware of what is the expectation of the Axis Bank interviewer, right? So when it comes to current affairs, let me check with you. What are the things that you do to keep yourself updated on current affairs? Yeah, what is it that you do at your end? Let's check with Anubhuti. Anubhuti, how is it that you keep yourself updated on current affairs?
Yes. I
Yeah,
read the newspaper
yeah.
and some informative videos on YouTube.
Okay. So informative videos on YouTube, reading the news. These are good things, right? Because when I'm speaking to the candidate, I'm not asking for detailed information about a specific piece of news, but I would definitely want the candidate to be aware. So let's start with Anubhuti. Anubhuti, give me two latest news that you are aware of. Something that you read in recent times. Anything, quickly. Some latest news that you have come across.
That today's Raju Srivastava died.
Okay. So the comedian Raju Srivastava passed away. Okay. That
Yes,
is the latest update as on today. What
yes,
else?
and I'm sorry, I can't.
That's it. Nothing to recall. Right? And that is what I'm saying. Anubhuti, who says that she has been reading news, catches up with the daily updates on the newspaper, unfortunately, not in a position to remember. So it's as simple as that. Sometimes on the spot questions get asked and we don't have any kind of recall, right? That is something that we need to change. Today, if I'm constantly reading up on things, it could be small snippets of news that I keep reading. Thank you, Anubhuti. You may mute yourself. One of the good things to know is whenever such current affair questions are very generic. So it was a very general question that I asked Anubhuti in terms of give me some update. It would be advisable if you can give some news with respect to the financial sector. So yes, these are news. Maybe the Raju Srivastava passing away or the funeral of the Queen that was held, all that is good. World news, so it shows that you are aware of world news. You are aware of what's happening in and around you in the country, otherwise globally as well, right? So that kind of news is good. But what is more appreciated is news with respect to the economy, with respect to banking. Those kind of news would be very much appreciated. So one thing that I would advise each one of you all is you have some kind of subscription to the news that you receive, right? So you have a lot of apps these days, the news apps. So subscribe to any of the news apps and you will get those snippets of information at regular intervals, notifications, and that keeps you updated, right? Spend a few minutes every day, 15-20 minutes every day in catching up on what is the latest happening. Also subscribe to maybe Economic Times, right? So you have the app on Economic Times, which gives you the latest with respect to the business news, the business side of events. And that is something that I would advise all of you all to have. You can also visit sites like Money Control, right? A lot of information about insurance, mutual funds, changes there, right? Those come there. So every day, even if I spend half an hour to 1 hour on browsing through these various applications, the latest news and the economic side of the news and the latest in banking sector or the financial sector, that is work well done. Again, not necessarily you have to do it at one go. You can find pockets of time where you have a little few minutes to spare and you can do that. But it gives you some kind of answer when these unexpected questions are asked. Today, questions are asked specifically to check the response of the candidate, right? Are you in a position to have or some thoughts? The quality of information, yes, is important, but at the same time, it is also subject to the individual, right? How you are able to put across your thoughts. What is it that you are informing the interviewer in terms of the content of the news? Headlines are good, but at the same time, I also need to know what is the content behind the headlines, right? So today, if I say that interest rates are increasing, I also need to substantiate by a line or two why interest rates are increasing, or what is the reason why interest rates are falling, as the case may be. So these kind of awareness makes you a potential candidate for a relationship manager. Whether or not you have the academic background is immaterial, because I invite applications from all kinds. People who have experience, people who don't have experience, all that is taken care of in the interview. Right? So I am prepared to coach you. I am prepared to train you as long as I get the right candidate. Right? That is the agenda here. Today, you should give the confidence to the interviewer that you will be in a position to handle the HNI customer in front of you, and you will be able to interact with them intelligently. You will be able to have those quality discussions and conversations with the customer. So a little bit of political awareness is required, a little bit of awareness on the global cues is required, right? Because as a relationship manager, you are also going to be dealing with customers who have businesses overseas, who have transactions in foreign exchange. So today I should be in a position to tell the customer what is the right time to buy, what is the right time to sell, what is the status of the global cues, the impact of the dollar vis-a-vis the rupee, so on and so forth. Today, internet is giving you so much of information on your fingertips. All you need to do is come across as a candidate who has the potential. We are not saying that you should have the 100% knowledge, but at least show that spark in the conversations, which will help the interviewer decide that yes, this seems to be an okay candidate. This seems to be someone who can be coached, who can be trained to interact and have that dialogue with the high net worth customer. All right, so that is the reason here. So today, when I talk about current affairs, sometimes the interviewers, they come from different parts of the country, right? So when we talk about access interviews, most of these interviews are conducted by employees in Axis Bank. It could be a business leader, it could be an HR. Sometimes you have 2 or 3 people sitting in the interview panel, and each person asks his or her set of questions to you. Do not get anxious, do not get nervous if you're not able to find an answer to one particular question. It is fine, right? Because they ask you questions which generally put the candidate in a tough spot, right? I would want to know how the candidate responds. Why? Because as an interviewer, I am imagining you in front of my customer, my premium customer, who might ask a difficult question, and I am checking your responses. How will you react to such a difficult situation? Something maybe you don't have an answer. How do you respond? Are you honest enough, or do you try to bluff and give an answer which is wrong? Right? So these are impulses that I'm wanting to check about the candidate. At any given point in time, I need the candidate to come across as honest, right? I need someone who can say very clearly what he or she feels, right? So putting your perspective, putting your response becomes very, very important. You need to have that clarity, and that clarity should also reflect in your answers. So communication and how is it that you frame your answers will become important. Another thing is language, right? So some of you may not be proficient in English, but for the sake of the interview, I would expect each one of you to respond only in English to the questions that are asked, right? So if an interviewer asks you a question, do not jump to give the answer. Take a moment to understand the question very clearly. Sometimes questions are not understood properly and I give the wrong response. So first and foremost, be clear what is the question that is asked. Take a pause, think what you need to answer, and then put that answer across to the interviewer, right? Most of the times, the interviewer will pick from your cues given in the answer to ask the follow-up questions, right? So be prepared for that as well, that there might be additional questions that the interviewer will ask. Now, different types of interviewers will be there. Like I said, some might be sitting from the business side. So maybe you have a cluster head sitting in the interview. He or she might be interested more in business related questions. How will you do sales? What is it that you will do if you are given a situation like this? Those kind of questions. Maybe the HR person is thinking in terms of your personality. Do you come across as someone who can be introduced as a relationship manager? Can you meet my top profile customers? Do you look the part of a professional? Right? How good are you in terms of your body language, in terms of your communication skills? So each person in the panel, whether they speak to you or not, are checking different things from the candidate. Each of you will not have more than 5 to 10 minutes with the interviewer. And within that time, you need to convince the person who is sitting in the discussion with you that you are a potential fit, right? Everything else can be learned and trained. But that has to be very clearly indicated in your answers. That's why we say sometimes interviewer asks questions that are local. For example, who is the chief minister of your state? Who is the mayor? Right? These kind of localized questions might come. Sometimes questions on current affairs might be more general in nature. But your responses give a flair of how informed you are, how aware you are. All right. So with that, let me check on a few questions. And this is an opportunity where I would request each one of you all to try and practice. Start giving those answers so that you become comfortable and you're in a position to voice and express your thoughts. All right. Please raise hands who would want to take the exercise, who would want to participate in the exercise. Yes, quickly. Yes, no one. These are sessions for your benefit. If you do not take this opportunity, it is not going to help you in the interview in any way, because basis your responses, I can tell you where you're going right, where you're going wrong, what needs to be corrected, what can be improved. Yes, I would want you to take this opportunity, because otherwise, so kya fayda hua, right? So today, let me start with Anubhuti. Anubhuti, switch on your video. Yes, quickly, please. Yes. All right. Anubhuti, you said in the morning that you come from a science background. So the question that the interviewer is asking you here is, why do you want to change fields? Why do you want to come into banking? How will you respond?
Because I want to new environment for my career.
Okay, continue. Please continue.
Sorry, I can't go on.
Yeah. So again, this is a concern, Anubhuti. This is a problem. I may wish to take you, but आप जवाब ही नहीं देंगे, तो how will the interviewer select? Right? And like I said, let's ask the same question to Sudhanshu. Sudhanshu, why banking? Thank you, Anubhuti. Yeah. Switch on the
Banking is
video,
the
please. Anubhuti, you may switch it off. Yeah, Sudhanshu. Go ahead, switch on the video and speak.
banking is the fastest growing sector.
Hmm.
There are more opportunities, possibility of more career growth,
Okay.
good pay, high incentives.
Okay.
That's why, ma'am, I have also passion to join the banking sector.
Okay. So
So
better
that's
answer, a better answer than Anubhuti, where at least there's clarity in terms of Sudhanshu as to why he wants to join banking. Yeah, so there's safety and security. There's higher money, higher incentives. Again, when you say incentives and there is higher benefits, it is only for performers. So that also needs to be well understood, Sudhanshu. So you and I
okay.
may have joined the same role as a relationship manager, doesn't mean that you and I make the same amount of incentives. Correct? Only if I am a performer will I be able to earn well. So it is a completely performance driven industry. The role of a relationship manager is a sales driven role, a performance oriented role. So if I do well In the work that is allotted to me, there is good money to be made. All right. So you talked about that. Great. Let's speak to Kamlesh. Kamlesh, are we around?
Yes, ma'am.
Go ahead, switch on the video.
Yes, ma'am.
Is the video on? I don't see you.
Now I am visible, ma'am.
No, I don't see you still.
Ma'am, I switched on my video.
Others are able to see Kamlesh? Yes, no?
No, ma'am.
No. Kamlesh, you will have to review that. You'll have to do something about it, because how can an interview be possible if the interviewer is unable to see you? You say the video is on, but unfortunately, none of us in session are able to see you. All right, so work on that camera piece, please. All right, coming to the question. What would you say are the main functions of RBI? Kamlesh, the question is, what would you say are the main functions of RBI?
The main function of the RBI is to set the rules for the customers, to satisfy the needs of the customer, or to handle the situation of the customer.
Anything else?
That's all, ma'am.
Well, Kamlesh, this answer is not acceptable. Today, when you want to join an industry like banking and you want to join a bank like Axis Bank, you need to be very clear what is the role of a regulator. In fact, in the morning, we also had those discussions. All right, let me speak to someone else. Let me check with Altaf. Altaf, the importance of RBI. What does RBI
Yes.
do?
And the most important function of the RBI is that they can issue notes and
Okay.
they can provide credit to the other banks,
Okay.
and they are the controller of credit, like the money, like in the market.
Okay.
And right now I'm able to recall only these things.
All right. So today they are responsible for the regulation and supervision of all the banks, right? So commercial banks, financial systems, they regulate that. Today they also manage foreign exchange transactions. They act as the primary banker for the government, right? Over and above the points that Altaf said. So I need to have a little bit of awareness in terms of what the RBI does, what is the core function of a bank, what are the major products and services that are offered by the bank. Now, these are general questions. But when an interviewer asks questions to you, apart from that knowledge, try and include what Axis Bank also has. So today, when I say that Axis Bank has savings account, current accounts, or any bank has these kind of products, these becomes very general knowledge. But when I say that Axis banks have a variety of savings account, the easy account, the prime account, the priority account, the burgundy account, that shows what? It shows that you have done your research about the bank. You or not only know about what are the types of accounts, products, and services that banks have, but you also have made the effort to figure out what are the products of Axis Bank, right? So today, when I say Axis Bank has savings account and current account, सारे banks के पास है. There is nothing new in the information that you're giving me. But the moment you say that Axis Bank has these kind of products, for example, let's say a privilege credit card or a priority account or a Shubharamb home loan, these are unique branded products of Axis Bank, which means the candidate is so keen to do or find knowledge about the products that he or she has done the research in detail about the bank, right? So this is how you as a candidate score those extra points over someone else, right? So I might have just talked about products like loans bhi hai, credit cards bhi hai, savings account bhi hai, current account, and that is the answer given by one candidate. And here I have another candidate who also supports it with some examples which are specifically or unique to Axis Bank. The interviewer is likely to be more impressed with your answer. So use every opportunity that you have to impress the interviewer that you are a potential or you are a good fit for the information or for the role that you are, appearing for, right? We also have general questions about the finance space, like, what is an RTGS? What is an NEFT? Who can answer this? What is an RTGS? What is an NEFT? Let's check with Prince. Prince, who joined the session very late. And let me see. Prince, would you like to make an attempt? What do you understand by RTGS? What do you understand by NEFT? Yes, Prince, no response. All right, let's move to the candidate who's interested in answering. Sudhanshu. Go ahead, switch on your video.
Ma'am,
I need to see you, Sudhanshu.
Hello?
I don't see you at the moment. Yeah.
RTGS stands for real-time gross settlement,
Hmm.
and ma'am, NEFT stands for National Electronic Fund Transfer.
Okay. How are they different from each other?
These both are the ma'am payment gateways.
Okay.
Ma'am, I don't know the difference.
You don't know the difference. Okay. So both are payment mechanisms, is what Sudhanshu said. He has also elaborated the full form. I need to understand how are they different. Anybody in session who can tell me the difference? Yes?
Ma'am, NEFT has no minimum or maximum limit on the amount to be transferred.
Okay.
But RTGS transaction can only be performed if the amount transfer is equal to more than 2 lakhs.
Okay, so yeah, one primary difference is NEFT doesn't have any kind of amount restriction, whereas RTGS are for transactions which are 2 lakh and above. NEFT transactions happen in batches. RTGS are immediate credits that get credited to the customer account. Both very widely used, and depending upon the type of account that you hold with the bank, these transactions may or may not be chargeable for the customers, right? So these are basic information, not necessarily banking information. These are generic information that you should know. All right, let's have another question. Is Nitish in session? Nitish?
Sir, Islam has
All right, switch on the video, please, and respond to the question. What is the difference between life insurance and general insurance?
life insurance, ma'am, is given to the customers, ma'am. Is that general insurance like vehicles?
I could not follow what is it that you said, Nitish. Clarity नहीं है. Take a minute. वापस आंसर बोलो पूरा.
Okay, ma'am.
Yeah. Respond. Nitish, waiting for your answer. Again. No response. Nitish, is there an answer coming from your side? Friends, these are questions that will be expected at interviews. Today, even in a forum like this, where there's absolutely no pressure, I am not able to get responses from half the participants. I don't know how good is the session going to make an impact for you if there is no response coming in. Again, question is open to others. What is the difference between general insurance and life insurance?
And basically, life insurance is related to life of a person, And if we talk about general insurance, it is related to like any assets, furniture, or any like car insurance, home insurance, travel insurance. General insurance is related to these types of things.
Okay, let me check with Anubhuti. Yes, Anubhuti.
Life insurance is a cheap when compared to the whole life insurance, and whole life insurance for the entire life, and saving components.
Hmm.
That's it.
Anubhuti, what is the question asked? What is the question asked?
Difference between life insurance and whole life insurance.
No. So that's what I said. We need to hear the question properly. वरना answer जवाब आपको पता होगा लेकिन गलत जवाब दोगे. The question was not the difference between life insurance and whole life insurance. The question was what is the difference between life insurance and general insurance? Right? So your answer does not meet the question. It is not in sync or in line with the question that was asked. So always listen to the question first, understand the question, and then give your answer. All right, let's hear it from Sudhanshu.
Ma'am, life insurance insures the life of a person.
Hmm.
Like it is a general, it is generally when a contract between a policyholder or insurance company, in which person promises to pay a sum of amount for a particular time. In return, he will be given a sum assured for and a bonus, and sometimes he is also given a death claim bonus,
Hmm.
assured bonus, and a maturity bonus and death bonus. And
Hmm.
when general insurance include all the other bonuses like the motor insurance, sorry, vehicle insurance, house insurance, etc.
All right. So while I've been listening to answers, friends, please understand if your video is not on, I will not be convinced of your responses. I need you to respond in camera to me because otherwise it's very simple. I ask a question, you take a minute to find out that information from Google. Right? I need you to speak to me with your video on so that I am convinced that you have the answer and you are responding as per the question asked. If there is no eye contact between the interviewer and the candidate, again, it is not going to work in your favor. A lot of times in interviews, I've seen candidates have those chits of information that they have written it down. Sometimes it's in a book. And I find candidates referring to those notes while responding. It is not going to help you. An interviewer is conducting hundreds of interviews in a day, and each candidate I can immediately make out by the quality of conversation whether the candidate knows or whether the candidate is depending on things to respond. Right? The pauses that you take, the way you look here and there. You know, sometimes mobile dekh rahe ho, book dekh rahe ho, pages turn kar rahe ho, very, very visible. So today, if there is a mantra to pass the interview, it is you need to have a subject knowledge. Otherwise, currently, all these people who have answered correctly with flying colors. But the moment I remove that benefit of giving you time to respond or keeping the video off, I don't know how well you or anybody else will be able to perform in the interview. Remember, in interviews, the camera is on throughout the course of the interview. So it is very difficult to fake in the interview. So today, because your video is off, you may be resorting to some kind of help and assistance. It is not going to help. You are only fooling yourself, right? And even I am not convinced with answers which are not given in camera to me. Is that clear? Have I made myself clear? And that's the reason I say use this opportunity to express. गलत है तो गलत है, आपको सुधरने का मौका मिलेगा. But here, when you give me the right answer, depending on the Google information that you have found after the question has been asked, you are only fooling yourself. Because ये opportunity आपको live interview में नहीं मिलेगी. And it also doesn't give me a chance to correct the knowledge that you have. So let me make it very, very clear that it is in your interest that you participate and make the most of this opportunity that is available, right? Because like I said, at Axis Bank, we get hundreds of candidates, interested candidates who would want to join the profile. And Axis Bank is also very clear, we will take the best, right? So any candidate who shows that potential, we are willing to spend time and efforts in grooming that candidate to for the role of a relationship manager. But any person who is not up to the mark or who does these kind of over smartness is not going to help you, because it's very, very visible, right? A question that is asked on camera, you are unable to respond, but जैसे ही camera बंद हो जाता है, answers फटफट आने लगते हैं, right? Which very clearly shows that there is some kind of disconnect. So over the next 2 days, जो हमारी training program रहेगी, I would want each participant to consciously start, coming in front of the camera, because उससे क्या होगा? The reservations that we have, lot of us are apprehensive about switching on your camera. I don't know why. The more you get comfortable in front of the camera, the better it is, because that much more composed and calm you will look in front of the interviewer. जब हमें आदत ही नहीं है हमारी कैमरा स्विच ऑन करने की, that discomfort reflects in your body language. For example, we were looking at Nitish, right? Nitish wanted to say something, but very, very uncomfortable in carrying on that conversation. Why? Because so many people are listening, and जबकि कितने लोग हैं? 6 या 7 लोग हैं. Normally, on an average, 4-5 people will be there even in an interview panel. कुछ हमारी तरफ से team members रहेंगे, कुछ उनकी तरफ से रहेंगे, right? And you are underconfident, or you do not have it in you to switch on your camera. Right? So first thing, break those reservations, break those barriers. The more you start speaking, the more confident you have feel in the interview. Because why? 4 time आपने बात करने की कोशिश की है, you have got those specific corrections, inputs from the trainer to you. Right? So please use this as an opportunity. I can only say the rest is up to you. Like I said, Axis Bank will keep selecting people. जो रह जाएंगे पीछे, वो आप लोग जैसे रहेंगे जो who have not used this or leverage this opportunity to become better version of yourselves. All right? Okay, so that was the question with respect to life insurance, general insurance. Please make a note of these questions, because ये generally पूछे जाते हैं. Life insurance. Okay, let me ask another question to Prince. Prince, who has been in the program, I don't know, since morning or afternoon, whenever he or she has joined, but has not been answering at all. So let me again give Prince an opportunity. Prince, are you around? Can you switch on your mic? No response. All right. Let me speak to Abhishek. Abhishek, switch on your video, please. Abhishek, if you're in session. Are we around? Right. Abhishek also not around. Note of it. Yes. Who else would like to take the next question? Raise hands. I think it is simpler that way, because I call out names and I don't get any response. So let me just check. Yes. Sudhanshu, switch on your video, please. All right. Sudhanshu, the next question would be, what do you understand about mutual funds?
Ma'am, mutual fund is like a financial vehicle through which we pool the money from the stakeholder, like in the stocks, securities, and ma'am, mutual fund is controlled by SEBI, regulated by.
Okay.
That's it. That's it.
Again, the answer is not up to the mark, Sudhanshu, because like I said, insurance hai, mutual funds hai, these becomes important cross-sell products for the relationship manager. So I want all of you all to read up on mutual funds, how it can be an investment tool for the customers, how mutual fund agencies pool the funds of different investors and make investments in various sectors, in various schemes, today it is a very regulated industry. Every type of mutual fund, including Axis Bank, has multiple mutual funds out there. Depending upon the mutual fund, we have a very clear idea about what the fund has been created for, what are the objectives of the fund, who the fund managers are. Today, mutual fund can be a vehicle, can be a good instrument, like I said, for a small time investment as well. So people of all economic backgrounds can invest in a mutual fund, right? So that is one of the advantages there. So even if I have 500 rupees or 1000 rupees, I can start an SIP. I can choose a mutual fund and I can invest. So that is an investment option that is available. So whenever you are asked questions like this, you should be in a position to at least have at least 4 to 5 lines of detailing that you can share with the interviewer, right? So while you may not have 100% knowledge, but the awareness is what we are checking. And when I just leave the answer in just one line answer, एक line में मैंने वो खत्म कर दिया, वो बहुत कम लगता है. I, as an interviewer, feel that, maybe thoda और effort होना चाहिए. So today, like I said, an RM will be responsible for cross-selling both kinds of products, liability products, asset products. तो थोड़ा बहुत information सभी product का होना चाहिए. So when you are preparing for the interview, spend a little bit of time there as well. All right. Thank you, Sudhanshu. Someone else who would want to make an effort? Anubhuti? Please switch off the camera, Sudhanshu. Thank you. Anubhuti, are we there? All right. Anubhuti, I want to find out what are asset products and what are liability products. What is the difference between the two?
Asset products.
Hmm.
Sorry, I can't.
Anubhuti, you were there in the morning. You have sat through 2-3 घंटे की हमारी discussions हुई हैं on basics of banking, on what does the bank do. And in spite of sitting through the training program, you are so easily telling that I don't know. Again, not very a happy scenario, Anubhuti. Because जो चीज हमने 2 घंटे पहले सुनी है, we are unable to replicate. हमने assets के बारे में बात की थी सुबह,
Yes, ma'am.
liability products के बारे में बात की थी. आप थे नहीं थे, I don't know. Because people are logged in, like I said, जैसे Prince हैं, is logged in, but unfortunately, I don't know whether the presence is there or not. Abhishek is logged in. I don't know whether the person is there or not because on camera, I don't see you. I don't get your responses. So again, the session will make sense to each one of you all provided you give me answers. अगर answers नहीं आने वाले तो then उस session का फायदा नहीं हो रहा है. All right, Anubhuti. So हम सुन रहे हैं. At the same time, make some notes. बिकॉज मेमोरी पे हम रिलाय नहीं कर सकते, हमें सब कुछ याद नहीं रहता. सो मेक सम नोट्स, मेक सम एफर्ट्स इन केस इफ यू आर सीरियस अबाउट गेटिंग इनटू दिस रोल. बिकॉज एक्सिस बैंक विल नॉट एट दिस पॉइंट इन टाइम, जितने भी जवाब मुझे आ रहे हैं, मुझे कोई भी पोटेंशियल दिख नहीं रहा है. लेट मी बी वेरी ऑनेस्ट, बिकॉज इससे ज्यादा तैयारी सभी कैंडिडेट्स करके आएंगे. हमारे ये जो 5-6 अभी जो सेशन में बैठे हैं, अगर ऐसे ही जवाब आने लगे टू द इंटरव्यूअर, वो इंटरव्यू 2 मिनट से ज्यादा चलेगी नहीं. ठीक है?
Okay.
ऑल राइट. एनी क्वेश्चंस फ्रॉम योर साइड? ऑल दीज पीपल, आपके मन में कोई सवाल? एनी क्वेश्चंस, एनीबॉडी? Anubhuti, you may switch off the video. Yeah, because we've been having discussions since morning and I've been speaking, but I don't know how much of it is actually sinking into each one of you all. If there are questions, I am not seeing many hands being raised कि मैम clarify करा दो या ये point explain करा दो. वैसे answers नहीं मिल रहे हैं. I am not getting volunteers कि I want to participate in this mock interview, because the objective of the mock interview is giving you that comfort, making sure that ये सवाल आएंगे तो ये सवाल आएंगे तो मैं कैसे करूं इस सवाल का सामना. What should be the best response? So today, if I am asking you to prepare for the interview, there are certain things that need to be kept in mind. First thing, like I said, today, my objective is that the candidate looks presentable. भले मैं आपकी बातें ना सुनूं, but when I look at you, I should feel that you are a relationship manager. So currently the way you are dressed is not giving me the confidence. Right? घर पे बैठे हो, comfortable हो, relaxed है, ठीक है. But interview के लिए this is not the right attire. Possibly because you didn't know, but going forward for tomorrow and day after, I want you to be a little more prepared and composed in terms of grooming, so that मैं उसमें भी आपको correct कर सकूं कि ये आपके लिए ठीक है, ये आपके लिए ठीक नहीं है. जब आप you're not dressed for the interview, I cannot give you those tips. Right? So throughout the sessions between the next 2 days, we will be having online in-camera interactions. So वो वैल्यू एड तभी होगा जब आपकी तरफ से आप कैमरा स्वयं करेंगे, आपकी तरफ से आप शेयर करेंगे थॉट्स. राइट? सो दैट इज वन थिंग. द ग्रूमिंग पार्ट. द ग्रूमिंग अगर जो विजुअल अगर इम्पैक्ट अच्छा गिरे तो बाकी की चीजें उतनी स्मूथ हो जाती हैं. विजुअली अगर कैंडिडेट को देख के मुझे वो कॉन्फिडेंस नहीं मिल रहा, so my questions to you are also a little I have not made up my mind. You're not getting that advantage which you would have otherwise got when I see a smart looking professional sitting in front of me in camera. All right, Sudhanshu has a question. Let's hear the question. Yes, Sudhanshu.
Like ma'am, I am like from arts background. So the interview will be asked. Interview will be asked the question accordingly, or I have to convince him.
Interview will ask the
Ma'am,
question. What questions are we talking about? क्या convince करना है आपको? Clarify.
Ma'am, like I am irrespective of the field, ma'am, like from commerce field.
हाँ.
The interview will be asked the question accordingly, or from all the questions, ma'am.
इन द सेंस आप पूछ रहे हो कि मैं आर्ट्स के सवाल पूछूंगी कि नहीं, ये पूछ रहे हो?
हाँ जी, है मुझे कन्विंस करना होगा इंटरव्यू को.
आपको
मैं क्यों
कन्विंस नहीं
बैंकिंग
करना है, आपको सिर्फ बताना है कि आपके पास कितनी नॉलेज है. आपको सिर्फ मुझे ये कन्विंस करना है कि आप एक पोटेंशियल आरएम बन सकते हैं कि नहीं. Which means when I look at you, I should feel that okay, fine, this Sudhanshu RM के लिए ठीक है, potential है, बात है. Now that is the visual part. So the moment I switch on the camera, interview जैसे ही शुरू होता है और आप अपना कैमरा ऑन करते हो, पहले तो वो मैं जज कर रही हूँ कि आप दिखते कैसे हो. क्या मैं आपको डायरेक्टर के साथ मीटिंग करा सकती हूँ? क्या मैं आपको एक सर्जन के साथ कॉन्फ्रेंस में ले सकती हूँ? कैन आई टेक यू to a businessman, right? Because the person has to look the part. आप ordinary customers के साथ नहीं deal करने वाले in this role. आप सिर्फ affluent customers, high net worth customers के साथ deal करने वाले हो, जिसके लिए it is very important that you conduct yourself with confidence. Any candidate जो anxious दिखता है, under confident दिखता है, I reject on the spot. Why? बिकॉज मेरे HNI कस्टमर के सामने भी वो डरा हुआ दिखेगा, कॉन्फिडेंट नहीं दिखेगा. एंड अगर आप अंडर कॉन्फिडेंट हो, नॉट श्योर हो, तो मैं एज अ कस्टमर, एज एन HNI कस्टमर आपकी रिकमेंडेशन क्यों सुनूं? Right? So one of the first thing is the visual impact. So when I see that the candidate is looking okay, then I start my questions. Now, because I am inviting candidates from all backgrounds, I am prepared to get the feedback that, maybe you don't know everything. लेकिन थोड़ा बहुत तो पता है. So today when I'm speaking to Sudhanshu, I know उन्होंने कितना जवाब दिया है, which is very good from a person who comes from a non-commerce background. You have seen your responses and you have seen the responses of the other candidates. Did you think you did well as compared to the others in this session?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, no? Yeah. So today, though you are from an arts background, all the other candidates you are comparatively better for discussions. Because I see that many more hands being raised by you, at least an attempt being made to speak. You are able to verbalize, put your thoughts across. If you have questions, you are asking questions, but others are not doing that. Right? So at least in terms of formulating questions, expressing yourself, you have good communication skills. All we need to do is, everybody has that learning curve. हम सब better बन सकते हैं, improve कर सकते हैं. So we'll do that. We will try and do that in the time that we have together. But coming back to the question that is asked, डिटेल्ड टेक्निकल स्पेशलाइज्ड सवाल पूछा नहीं जाएगा. Considering that I have people from varied backgrounds, बहुत general questions पूछे जाएंगे. जैसे कि म्यूचुअल फंड क्या है. It is not because you have a commerce background or an arts background that I'm asking a question. बंदा या बंदी, does he have the awareness of mutual funds? क्या आपको पता है इंश्योरेंस क्या होता है, क्यों हम लेते हैं, राइट? वेरी, these are general knowledge questions. तो ऐसे ही सवाल आपको आएंगे in the interview. So nothing technical will come, but basic awareness is what we are looking for. All right. So if you come from arts background, doesn't mean the interview questions will be arts background related. Or you come from science background, there will be too many of those questions. No, the interview is role specific. We are looking for your awareness in terms of the interview, in terms of the role that is being offered to you, which is the priority relationship manager. Okay?
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah. Any other questions? So one thing which I would want each one of you to do is come better prepared for tomorrow's session. Second, be better prepared with your audio and network, right? It is very, I don't know how will you handle it in the real interview situation जब आवाज नहीं आ रही है, headphone नहीं चल रहा है, camera नहीं चल रहा है, very, very silly reasons and not acceptable at all. जब हम mock interviews में नहीं कर पा रहे हैं, तो I don't know what to say. I have been making notes for each of these 7 candidates, but very few notations I have been able to make because participation उतनी कम है. It is less. So please make sure unless you speak, आपको पता नहीं चलेगा कि आपको कितना और करना है, right? Second, when it comes to discipline, I would want you to focus on discipline as well. How prepared are you? I need you to focus on your body language, how you come across. भले मुझे चीजें नहीं पता, but if I look confident and I say honestly, that is much more appreciated than bluffing, right? Overconfidence again is not a pleasant sight for the interviewer. So please focus on your body language. A little bit of banking information, like I said, very general information that we are asking. Nothing technical, nothing that, you know, only a banker will know. Whatever information we ask or in the interviewer asks will be very you know, something that is in the general open public domain. Yeah, so that is the kind of questions. There would be questions on your fitment, role fitment के ऊपर आप sales कर पाएंगे क्या? What would be scenarios देंगे जो आपको, how will you handle those scenarios? So scenario based questions will be there. Experience, how many of you have work experience here? Please raise hands. All of you all are freshers, or do we have any kind of work experience as well? Again, no response, which I don't know. Are we freshers? Do we have work experience? Sudhanshu, respond. Work experience hai, nahi hai, fresher? What is exactly is the situation?
No, ma'am. I'm fresher, ma'am. Just
Fresher,
completed
okay.
graduation in 2020.
Okay, okay. Yes, Altaf, what is your background?
Ma'am, actually, I have been in a contract basis in Concentrics last year
Okay,
for 3 months.
okay. So 3 months ka bare minimum experience hai.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, all right. And you said contact center, call center.
Yes, ma'am. It was a Concentrics. Like I have been in the chat process as a representative operation.
Okay, so it was not a face-to-face interaction or a voice interaction. It was more of a message responding to emails.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, it is basically depend upon the customer. Like customer want to chat or customer want to have on call. It basically depends on them. We have to
And you
respond
are
with them.
open with that. So today, if I am a customer
Yes,
who
ma'am.
wants to have a telephonic connect with you, you will be prepared for that as well.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
So that is one good plus that you have. Make sure when you introduce yourself and when we do the round of introductions, make sure you include that because it gives you the exposure that I've handled customers. Because different type of customers you would have come across, and even in that short span of
Yes,
3
ma'am.
months, right? Some would be easy customers, some would be difficult, upset customers, irate customers. And as an RM, again, this role will open up those opportunities where you come across all kinds of customers, right? So do include that in those information. All right. What does Anubhuti have to say? Anubhuti?
I'm also a fresher, ma'am. I'm just pursuing my post graduation.
Okay. Fair enough. Yeah. And Kamlesh, what about you?
I am also fresher, ma'am.
Okay. So it doesn't matter, friends, if you're a fresher or you do not have the relevant experience. Like I said, all I need you to demonstrate is show that you're willing to learn. मैं करना चाहती हूँ, मैं ज्वाइन करना चाहती हूँ, I am willing to learn whatever is it that is required for the role. So today if I need to learn banking, I need to read up on that. और वो reading के बगैर आएगा नहीं. Reading, making notes, अभी आपके पास time है, right? So sometime next week or something, the once the interviews begin, आपके पास अभी भी time है to groom up, refresh the knowledge. So that is what I would want you to do. So questions आपके ऊपर आते हैं, personality के ऊपर, आपकी इंट्रोडक्शंस के ऊपर, योर अवेयरनेस ऑफ द रोल, योर अवेयरनेस ऑफ द बैंक, योर अवेयरनेस ऑफ द बैंकिंग सेक्टर, how good you are in terms of communication, how good you are in terms of visual grooming. So अलग अलग चीजों के अलग अलग मार्क्स रहते हैं. तो ये कभी मत समझना कि हरे एक आंसर गलत हो गया तो मेरा इंटरव्यू गंदा गया. नो, इट डजंट मैटर, because as an interviewer I am checking different things for each of the candidate: the background, the presence, the grooming, the communication skills, the information that you have, right, the knowledge that you have. So it is okay, and everybody will have those pluses and minuses, right? So nobody has an undue edge, right? So that is what I would want to say. Today we have seen the responses, and you have seen the person who was talking the most was someone who came from a non-commerce background, whereas people who were from the commerce background did not even open up their mouth and share that information. All right. Yes. Anything else that you would want to know about? Yes, Sudhanshu and Anubhuti, I see hands raised. Is there a question? Okay. All right. So I would like to stop here for the time being, and we will resume the session tomorrow at 10. Hopefully, seeing a much better participation. Tomorrow, we will be talking about Axis Bank, right? What is Axis Bank? What are the products of Axis Bank? And what is the role all about? What does a relationship manager do? So our discussions will be focused on that. Today, we gave a background about banking. We gave a background about BFSI. We discussed some essentials in terms of current affairs, in terms of participant preparation for the interview. And we will continue with the session on those same lines tomorrow as well. So before we wrap up, anything anybody has to say? Any questions, anyone?
Ma'am, will similar questions come in interview?
Yeah, जो भी मैं सवाल पूछ रही हूँ ये सब इंटरव्यू में आते ही हैं, अनुभूति. All these questions have come in the interview.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ma'am, in tomorrow, can you discuss like scenarios, some scenarios, as for example, that we can remember?
Yes, we can. All I require is participation. अभी तो मैं सवाल पूछने के लिए हाथ खड़े करने बोलती हूँ तो कोई हाथ ही नहीं उठाता. We will do that. Yes.
Okay.
What
Thank you so
else?
much.
Any ma'am tip for today, like improvement, like feedback, ma'am?
Improvement मैंने
Like
आपको
with
जैसे
feedback.
बताया, come better prepared tomorrow, right? Be confident in switching on your video. तो जैसे ही मैंने आपको पूछा सवाल, आप अपना वीडियो तो ऑन करो. हम वीडियो ऑन करने से बहुत हिचकिचाते हैं. I don't know why. The more you switch on your video, the more comfortable you are in interacting with the other person. As on today, I don't see any candidate who might have switched on the video for more than 2 times. और वो भी रिक्वेस्ट करने के बाद वो स्विच ऑन किया जाता है कि सुधांशु ऑन योर वीडियो, अभिषेक ऑन योर वीडियो, तब जाके वीडियो ऑन होता है. तो प्लीज अंडरस्टैंड, जितना आप खुद को देखोगे और इंटरेक्ट करने की कोशिश करोगे इन कैमरा, द बेटर इट इज फॉर यू इन द इंटरव्यू, बिकॉज वो कंफर्ट आ जाती है. अदरवाइज वी फील अ लिटिल रेस्टलेस. वी आर नॉट यूज टू सीइंग आवरसेल्व्स. सो एक वो अपने आप वो रेजर्वेशन कम हो जाती है when I switch on the video. Second, then I can focus on what I have to say. वरना उस दिन ना आपके पास बहुत सारी वो apprehensions रहती है. वीडियो भी स्विच ऑन करना है, बात भी करना है, कम्युनिकेशन पे भी ध्यान देना है, सही जवाब देना है. So undue pressures. the more you practice coming in front of the camera, वो reservation हट जाती है. 4 टाइम एक चीज कर दो, 5वें टाइम उसका वो इम्पैक्ट नहीं रहता, बिकॉज इट बिकम्स नेचुरल फॉर मी. आई एम सो यूज्ड टू स्पीकिंग. जितना आप बात करोगे उतने इजीली आपके वर्ड्स आने लगेंगे. हम मन में सोचते हैं कि मैं ये सब जवाब दूंगा, बट वी हैव सीन व्हेन आई आस्क अ क्वेश्चन, 1 या 2 सेंटेंस से ज्यादा हम बात नहीं कर पाते. एंड दैट अगेन कैन ओनली बी चेंज इफ आई स्टार्ट स्पीकिंग मोर एंड मोर. राइट? जैसे हम वो स्विमिंग के बारे में बोलते हैं ना, स्विमिंग सीखने के लिए, देखने के लिए बहुत इजी है, बट जब तक आप पानी में नहीं उतरोगे आपको पता नहीं चलेगा कि कितना डिफिकल्ट है. सो यू नीड टू स्टार्ट डूइंग दिस, एंड दिस इज द प्रेप दैट यू नीड टू लर्न और क्रिएट फॉर योरसेल्व्स. All right. Any other questions? Anything else?
No, ma'am.
No.
All right. So then I'll see you tomorrow at 10 o'clock and we will continue with the discussions. All right. Thank you everyone
Thank you
for
so much,
joining.
ma'am.
Thank you.
Have a nice evening.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.